Hello, Mr. OmniFigure here. I was going to do a quick tutorial about just getting started with the UberSurface2, the layered shader, surface shader, recently released, and basically how to easily migrate from older or legacy shaders to the new version, and I was going to go over some new features of it and that kind of thing. So first, I just started out with an Elite. This is Mary Elite on Victoria 4. So she uses the HumanSurface Elite HumanSurface shader, one of my previous shaders, and so I've just applied this preset and this is the render. So this is just kind of the so I just have one spotlight, pretty simple render, but to show you kind of what the different controls do. So this is HumanSurface. So now I'll select her some materials, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to find UberSurface2 where you've installed it. So this is in my content under shaders UberSurface2. And some of the great things you have here, well, first of all, you have a handy little shortcut to the help documentation online, which is a living document, so check here for updates and new tutorials and that sort of thing. But this is a pretty in-depth overview of all the various knobs and dials and different things of the shader, but to use it, so I've got her selected and she's using the old shader as it says here. And since if you're using like a Elite HumanSurface shader or UberSurface #1 that comes with DAZ Studio Advanced, then the upgrade path is pretty painless. You can just use this upgrade preset here. So I'm going to upgrade these surfaces that I had selected, and so now you see UberSurface2, and now there's all sorts of new things to look at. And first and foremost, so first of all what I'll do is I'll just kick off another render. And you'll see that out of the box it is different. The specular dumbs way down in this example because it's using the Elite presets. And the reason why that is that in UberSurface2 I'm using by default with Fresnel. You'll see Fresnel is on in the Elite presets, so it's just when you use the upgrade it doesn't change any of the dials, it just swaps out the shader and leaves the same settings. So one difference is with Fresnel, when it is on, the difference is now it affects specular as well as reflection, previously it only affected reflection. So that's the difference, and that's why the render it goes down. So if I turn that off, you'll see it return to normal. But this is a feature. The Fresnel affects specular, and specular really is just a fake sort of reflection. So that's why I did that, and so I did that as well, so you can get really nice glancing highlights. So when you turn Fresnel on, you can boost your specular up quite a bit, and then you can get nice glancing highlights, kind of rim lighting effects, or you can just turn it off if you don't want that. One of the other big differences I'd like to highlight is the Subsurface. the subsurface has changed, is one of the more substantial changes, and it looks quite a bit different. But the biggest difference is you'll no longer get most of your color from here, from the surface color, and I would recommend just whitening that out to start with. Most of the color is coming from scatter and absorption, and this model is more of the kind of industry model that produces better results. And in here, and with UberSurface2, you'll see presets, and there's a number of subsurface, all these SSS presets or subsurface. I will just apply a preset to her. And another thing, if you're upgrading, you'll want to just revert to kind of the defaults for scale and shading rate before you apply that preset. And now I'm gonna boost this up a bit so you can see the effect, but it's. And one thing I like to do when using subsurface is the more subsurface you use, the brighter it's getting, obviously. So oftentimes I'll reduce the diffuse as I increase subsurface, just so it doesn't totally blow out on you. And that's one of the major changes is subsurface. So I'm just rendering it now with the new subsurface, and you'll see that subsurface is pretty high. You're getting more light and more bleed in these shadow areas. And the subsurface also works really well for backlighting. And another control that's new is this Backscatter Boost, especially for backlighting. If you're wanting to get color bleed through ears and that kind of thing, you can really boost this up or dumb it down depending on what you want to do. And that's another new thing. Translucency on a figure like this, where her skin's got volume to it, I would not recommend using translucency. You'll get that effect from subsurface scattering. Translucency I would use more on really thin objects like paper or leaves, that kind of thing. Really kind of paper thin geometry. And then layering is another big feature. I'll go over that in a separate video. And a few other small things, but very useful. There's control for ray tracing depth on a per surface level, and I find this very valuable. So it's under diffuse, you see a depth, and that's for bounce light, global illumination, GI kind of bounce light. And then under reflection, you'll also see a max trace depth. And I've just defaulted these really low, 1 to get really fast renders. And with these settings, I tend to ray trace reflection a lot because it's fast, and you get really nice results. And let's see, and another addition to hit on real quick is shadows. So now you have individual control over cast shadows and accept shadows, so that when this is off, these surfaces will no longer cast shadows, and you can turn off accept shadows as well, so it won't receive shadows from other objects, so you have more control over shadow type things. And those are some of the bigger things. You can definitely look at the docs for the minutia of things, for the details. And yeah, and then I'll be going over layers, which there's quite a bit in the addition of layers in a separate video coming up.